Hello, hello, hello. You ever seen Fishbone? The band Fishbone?
Yeah, I have seen them.
Yeah, I figured you had. Tom's got a pretty DeBerry Joe. He's got some decent for a non-music, like he likes music, but for a guy that's not obsessed with it, he's got some that I don't have. You have one that I'm really jealous of. Didn't you do Foo Fighters Weezer?
Yeah.
Fuck, that show. I would have liked to have checked those two off. Oh, by the way, still got the Weezer video. Haven't done anything with it, but I got it.
We should talk about that. Because I didn't get to watch it.
She racked her fucking gun, dude. She racked her gun.
Did she shoot?
She racked her gun and fired, yeah.
Okay. Was it?
Actually, I'm going to have to roll that back. She cocked her gun. I don't know if she fired.
Did they...
I can go back and look.
Was it obvious that the police were like, hey, we're police, don't...
Here's the thing. Some people were saying that over the fence they weren't doing a good job. Man, I think they were. There's helicopters and shit all popping off. You look and there's guys over the fence and you don't think those are cops? What do you think, that's an army of bad guys? How dumb are you?
Well, did they identify themselves?
I think they did.
Okay.
I think they did. Because I think that's the first thing. It's like putting your name on your SAT.
Yeah.
This is our warm-up.
Because I'm still trying to figure out, like...
Oh, I got to fix your camera. Fuck.
Why she would even show aggression or confusion.
This is that breed of person that is very popular right now where I do what I want. I heard helicopters. I'm taking my own safety into my own hands. Kind of hot. It's kind of hot. She has a good ass in the video. Little flat. A little flat from, she's my age. Younger. She's younger than my age. All right, let me see if this thing works.
Tom wanted to
Look at that.
do a bit.
Oh,
Weird job Wednesday.
it should work, right? Like it's lowering the volume. I think it should. It should lower the volume for you guys. Please tell me it's working. Is the volume of Weird Job Wednesday going down? It should. Worked forever to try and figure that out. This hunk of crap. Yeah, George Clinton's still around. Oh, damn. Ghost of Manu Bull almost saw Motorhead. Lemmy died before he could get to see him. I've switched to Mellow Yellow Zero today. Trying something a little bit different.
Hey, can you hear me? Hey, I'm calling, this is Tom from Tom and Dan. Hey, what's going on?
Oh, he thought he had the wrong number.
Hold on one second. Tim, I apologize.
He did get the wrong number.
I called you instead of our other weird job. I'm sorry about that. I was just texting you, and then I was texting them too. Sorry, but anyway, I text you a time that maybe we could do it.
Tell him you love him. Yeah, look. Fucking Mellow Yellow, dude. I'm all about it now. Well, the reason I'm drinking it's supposed to have less citric acid.
I apologize again. I meant to call another guest. So I appreciate it, and I'll text you before we do the interview, and then we'll do it, no problem. All right, thanks, Tim. Bye.
I'm in the hospital with my daughter right now. I'm holding her hand before she goes in for open heart. It happens, dude. It's fine.
I was just
You're giving them what they
Shayla
want. The
and-
chat room's loving it. You're giving them what they want. You know what this is? This is like,
what the fuck?
you know
I don't
what
sit
this
there
is?
and watch your job.
This is like when Seinfeld walks out on stage and didn't do anything. He walks out at Radio City Music Hall where Tom has just been. If Seinfeld, he goes, it's not a pick, it's a scratch. It's a scratch. You're giving them what they want. You're giving them full stereotype. You're giving them the why? Oh, you're giving them who are these people? You're giving them the Mitch Hedberg. I want a real banana now. You're giving them the I want it now. I want it all.
God damn
He can't see either, and his hands don't work, so
it. Everything works.
It's real bad.
Everything
Wait
works.
till you see what my new ailment is. You're not even going to believe it. It'll blow your shoes off. Tulip. I have a tulip butt. Uh-oh. She gave you a wrong number. I bet he dialed it wrong. Because he thinks his thumbs are his
No.
pinkies.
That's right. Hold on. Oh, there we go. These phones? We don't use them all.
They've been the same for
day.
50 years.
Shayla.
This
Hey,
is Tim.
how you doing?
I'm in with my daughter now.
Sorry, I called the wrong number first, and then a
Ghost.
man answered, and then I was
Ghost,
like,
can you go back and grab the time
All right,
code of
I'll-
this whole segment for the
we'll
best
talk
end of the year
about it.
awards? I'll pay you. I'll give you
I was,
$50.
I was like, I swore there's Shayla, but then I was like, oh my God, is Shayla a man's name? That I just
Yeah,
thought
that's
it
a
was
man's name because I know all of my. Where my Shaylas at, guys?
I don't know.
Fellas.
It's 2025. I don't
Fellas,
know.
where
Hold
my
on one second.
Shaylas at? Can I get a what?
Hell yeah, Shayla.
Did you smoke crack during the
No,
lunch?
no. What?
I like fun. This is fun, Tom. He's back. What line is she on?
One.
Oh.
I mean, you know,
I hung up on
whatever.
Shayla, can you hear us? Uh-oh. Shayla.
Yes,
Hey,
hi.
can you hear us okay?
Yep,
Okay, awesome. Hey, thank you so much for doing this. We appreciate it.
for sure.
All right, hold on 1 second. All right, we got that. I think we're good, buddy.
No,
I got a new song. I put that okay, we're good. Shayla, I do have a new song, so I apologize. I hope you like country because of something I didn't do in a minute. All right, you want to start?
Yep.
Wednesday 1?
Wednesday 1.
Wednesday 1. Here we go. In 3, 2.
Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. We are live on Twitch and YouTube, and you can be here with us. Just search for @TomandDan Live. Join the chat room. Join your friends. Talk to people. Watch the show in brand new Magnifique 4K.
The Orange County Regional History Center has a brand new exhibit called The Collected, and that's 150 different items that are personally picked from 150 different individuals around Central Florida.
Yeah, personally
Me and Daniel
curated.
are one of them.
Yeah, we're in there. Brendan O'Connor's in there. Really famous people are in there, not just us schlubs. But what's cool about this is it's a very personal and very Orlando. It's celebratory to Orlando.
Yeah.
You're going to get some weird stuff in there. Mine is weird. I won't tell you what I picked, but I think you'll like it.
Also, every third Thursday, they have basically free entry after hours. So look it up at thehistorycenter.org.
Yep.
And just become a member. It's easy. They also do summer camps as well and a lot of things. And you can find all the information out on their website.
We've been beating this drum for a couple of years now. Become members of a lot of the great organizations that we partner with, and you will never be bored. You know, if you like being on the go, if you love Orlando and you want to celebrate cool stuff in Orlando, well, the History Center is one of many that we work with that give you the most Orlando-centric things that you can do.
I need to get my kids in some camps because they just want to stay
I just
home.
signed Maisie up.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We did it well, I didn't. Well, I talked about it with my wife. Andrea did it yesterday.
See, but she's
a camp girl. She likes
a camp
camps. She
girl,
likes
yeah.
doing stuff.
Yeah.
She likes
She's on the go.
Yeah. My sons don't want to do anything.
Right.
They
They're
wanna,
like me.
They just want to play video games at home and do
Hey,
nothing else.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. Well, you can't live like that.
So what you're telling me is your sons want a taste of the cane life.
I'm gonna go.
Bring them on over to the cane life.
You know what? I should
Let me get
show
them two
them.
little canes.
I should show them
The cane life, the sweet
yeah.
cane life, sugar cane life, as I call it, baby.
Just like scared straight, and then you put
Scared
some.
bent.
Yeah, use your cane and you put some sugar on the lips.
Yeah.
What is it?
Yeah, well, I would put the sugar on the bottom of my cane and I'd rub it on Max's lips and I'd be like, now lick that off. Real seductive like. Real seductive like. You're mine, bitch.
I like the cameraman's like,
Is he allowed to say that? Is this real or not real?
Is he scaring him with pedophilia?
I don't know. What is that?
It's like,
Is this guy a pedophile or just a tough guy playing a pedophile? I'm not sure.
Anyway.
Okay, it's Weird Job Wednesday. I did something I normally don't do. I went non-AI, and then, you can't do a true country.
Non-AI?
I went non-AI.
Oh, that means it's not good.
It's not going to be as good. It's not going to be as good. This is a new song. This is a brand new Weird Job Wednesday song. I haven't done this guy because he's a very controversial artist. I know a lot of you are thinking, yay. I'm not talking about yay. Ladies and gentlemen, the first time I've ever attempted something, Morgan Wallen. Let's get it. Cadence in this is fast, too.
You say I'll never change. I'm just driving around town in my pest control van wearing someone else's name. Just trying to gas a raccoon playing. And how do you explain falling in love with a guy who unclogs drains, then turn around and call me lame? I work on Wednesday. You just sit on your fat ass if I'm so awful. Then why you spend this bugman cash? You fell in love, girl, with a termite killing elf. You hate that when you look at me, you halfway see yourself if it's a Wednesday. Huh. You know I'm working my weird job.
There you go.
All right.
There you go. It's
That's
a little
good.
Morgan Wallen. Little Morgan Wallen. Very controversial figure.
I like that.
That's it. You know what? I will say, hot take. That's a catchy tune. I've been listening to it all morning. I'm like, that's a good song. That's a very good song.
Crystal told me that
I do not like that man, but he's a good songwriter.
Why don't people like him? Because he walked out of.
I think because he was winging around the N-word. And
Yeah, but
then whenever
was he saying it with the A at the end?
I don't remember, but I think yes.
Because that makes 100% of the difference.
No, it
in
does.
the-
But this has
'Cause
been
he
kicked
was
around by every morning show in the world. But you know what I'm saying? People,
Yeah,
it's very
yeah.
polarizing. And some people,
Does anybody
some
care
people
about that?
a lot of people that I know, and there's a generation of people that if you use the A, no A, you said it on Xbox, you said it on PlayStation, I don't care, you said it, I'm done with you.
But even if you're a kid and you're saying it in that generation,
He wasn't a kid. That would be the argument.
Well, I'm just saying. I'm saying it was a while ago, right?
Yeah, it was years
more than
ago,
10
and
years.
I think he was doing it as doing it like a friend would say it on an Xbox. I do believe that's how he was doing it.
Because
But I'm not going to defend it because all I'm saying is, because I don't care.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is there are people that no matter how you say it, whether you're a kid, non-kid, you could be 2 years old.
Well,
and
that's
say,
ridiculous.
But I'm
Yeah.
just saying,
Yeah,
there's people. You're surrounded by them, so look around.
No,
They're everywhere.
I'm looking at LBC us, and we don't care, and no one
I know,
around
but
us
I'm
cares.
just- well, I mean, we're speaking to other people. You know?
Yeah. It's
Unless I've forgotten how this thing works.
No,
But
no,
yes,
I
there
think
are
our
people,
listen-
there are listeners that will tell me, yeah, I don't like that guy because of that. Yes, 100%.
Yeah, it seems like his intention not to be racist.
I mean, you can either win this argument or talk to Shayla. Your choice, buddy. Your choice. I'm giving up. I'm going full
I'm
crystal
trying to
here.
figure it out.
Yeah. It doesn't need to be figured out.
Anyway, Shayla, how you doing?
I'm excellent. How are y'all?
Good.
Good.
Typical frustration. You know how it is.
Have you used the N-word with the A at the end? You did it once, right?
Not today.
Yeah. I mean, some people, they wake up, they're screaming in the pillow.
In the 90s, it was going around. Anyway, so Shayla, let's talk about your weird job. What was your weird job?
For almost 10 years, I pierced ears in Claire's in the mall.
All right.
Oh, now we're talking.
Ear
And when I say
piercer.
the mall, of course I mean the Volusia Mall.
Okay. So in the
Wow, that is a blast from the past. That was my favorite mall.
Volusia County Mall, you pierced ears at Claire's. So was it in like one of those middle kiosks?
No, it's a store like it's like an accessory store for young kids, like young girls, hair accessories and fake jewelry and stuff.
Okay, so what we just did is we got Claire's, which I guess would be considered a competitor of Piercing Pagoda mixed up.
That's it.
Because Piercing Pagoda was the freestanding one in a kiosk. Now
Okay.
that was made in 1969, believe it or not. It was like a husband and wife team that created that.
Yeah, I remember the piercing pagodas in
Yeah.
the middle of the mall, but
They've since rebranded because it's not cool anymore. So now they're called, what is it called? It's called, I had it here. They rebranded to something that was like super corny. It's called like, it's Banter. It's like Banter by Piercing Pagoda.
So
I had not heard that.
Yeah.
Claire's was founded in 61.
61, so Claire's is the older company. It's crazy to think, and Claire's has always done like what, female accessories and piercings?
Yes.
Interesting.
So Shayla, let's talk about the training when you're an ear piercer at Claire's. So how old are you at this time?
So I was around, I guess I was around 20. And I was actually the trainer for the entire district. So that was Jacksonville to Altamont.
Oh my God.
All right. So
And I was only 20, up to 20. I think I worked there until I was like 27, 28, something like that. So right in that pocket. But at 20, as early as 20, I was training people how to pierce ears.
Wow.
all right. So what's involved in the training? I'm sure there's age restrictions, right? You have to be over 18 to make a decision. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, over 18 to be a piercer. And the training is, as you can imagine, not great. They don't have even like a video or anything. It would just be me explaining to someone how to do it, like how to clean the ear, how to mark it for keeping it straight. And then also like we'd have them bring a friend in to practice on.
All right.
Did
So-
you? Okay,
So-
and let me. Can we rewind just a second?
Seems like a liability. I'm no lawyer, but
Yeah, it does. Now I didn't know anything.
Am I correct in thinking that you were using the little gun or the little piercing
Yeah.
machine, not?
Correct, a little gun. That's right. We were
Yeah,
using it.
because like now, like, and no offense to this job or anyone doing it, but I believe it is sort of frowned upon. The gun is not really looked upon as the best way to pierce ears. And the reason I found this out is my wife, when Maisie wanted to get her ears pierced, my wife did, Andrew, she's going to do all the due diligence and the work.
Research.
Yeah, and then everybody's like, no, you got to go to an officially licensed Florida piercer that has the proper training with the sterile instruments, and they will pierce it by hand. They will use no gun. There's no gun. They use it's gloves.
I like guns.
I like guns too. I'm a gun guy. But
Why not use a gun?
No, they're like, no, it's gloves, and then you got to go in there. So I had to take Maisie to the equivalent of a tattoo parlor.
Yeah.
And I went up to a place, and shout out to Drift. They're right up here in Orlando, right in our little Milk District area. And they were so great. And the lady that pierced Maisie did a phenomenal job. But I didn't know that the gun is sort of looked upon now as like, what are you, a monster? You never do that. And I'm like, well,
What's wrong with it?
I don't know.
It's definitely embarrassing now to tell someone that that's what I did. And of course, I was proud of the job at the time. Like, I was like, well, I pierce ears. I thought I was cool or whatever. And now to know that that's the complete wrong way health-wise to pierce ears because they say that it's a puncture wound. So you can crush the cartilage, they say. There's all different reasons why you wouldn't health-wise want to use a piercing gun. So that's what I was training people to do.
Yeah, and she's right. The short of the long from what my wife explained to me is I think the thinking is that someone that's trained to use the sharp needle the way it's intended to go in the skin at the proper angle will not damage anything versus it's like they're like a surgeon versus like the gun is just and then it just heals up and you get what you get.
All right.
And you could have like a wonky like you could have a wonky stud in there. You could have like you may have crushed a little bit where there's some scar tissue. I know my ears have scar tissue in them, like the holes.
Yeah, for sure. And they say it's like super unclean. Like I didn't know at the time, like a bad risk of infection. And we saw a lot of people with infected ears. But the way that the training worked was we were supposed to blame that on the client, that the client didn't keep it clean once they left because we were using a sterile
I like that. That's funny. That's really funny. And not to be a Tom here, but I don't understand.
It's just your lobe. Who cares?
Yeah, I don't understand why. Okay, not to ask the question that you're probably thinking. Why is still, again, I understand the crushing. I understand maybe it's not as technical or as, what do you call it, precise.
Precise, yeah.
But, like, it should be clean because aren't you using a new cartridge or aren't you cleaning it? Like,
yes, you are cleaning you clean the ear and you clean the cartridge, but the gun itself is never, like, wrapped. And, of course, you wear a glove and stuff, but that gun just actually sits out all day on the counter. So,
oh, yeah. It's got some hummus house in it.
Yeah. It's got doo-doo particles.
So the vessel isn't clean. You can't really sterilize it.
I like to take my piercing gun to the bathroom with me when I take it, too.
Well, let's talk about it. In all your years of using the gun, did you ever have people come back with ear infections? And they're like, you did this to me.
Yes, lots of times.
No. Okay, he'll shut up now. He likes it. You know what? That's the first time he's ever asked a question and somebody said, and yes, I did. A man came back with no ears. And Tom was like, I accept that answer. Thank you.
Hold on. Did you say, wait a minute.
You can't do a hold on if she said yes.
Did you do this yourself at home when you were cleaning it, put your dirty fingers in there?
Sir, I believe that's double jeopardy.
That's how we were supposed to blame it on them. We were supposed to.
I know Mr. Claire. And if I was anything like
him. Thump and chop the air? You're not allowed to do that.
Mr. Claire knows. You blame it on the customer.
Yeah, it's perfectly clear.
We would tell that we would apologize for their incompetence in keeping it clean.
I love apologizing for other people's incompetence.
It's one of the best techniques I learned. It's probably carried me through the rest of my life.
I hate to
I'm
say
sorry
it, but
you're so stupid.
It is a worthy black magic skill, is it not? That is a worthy black magic skill.
So let's talk about what type of people you would pierce their ears at Claire's at the mall. So
only the finest
people go. Let's talk about my favorite, which is when people would want to bring in their infants.
Okay, yes. Okay.
This is how Tom this is Tom's land, right? This is in Miami.
So, Shayla, before you talk about this, I thought about this last night before I went to bed. I couldn't sleep thinking about this. Yeah. That's how crazy I am. Because I was like, oh, yeah, we're talking to Shayla, piercing ears. And then I was like, piercing babies' ears is a thing, especially in Miami.
Big money in Miami. Do people know that before this podcast, Tom and I thought about starting Tom and Dan's Latin baby piercing?
We have Tom and Dan's baby earrings.
We do. We have Puerto Rican baby earrings online.
Yeah.
And we ordered so many because we thought it was going to be anyway.
So then I started thinking about the whole tradition of piercing your baby's ears, right? And then I came to the conclusion of it's fine.
I like it when the baby still has the black, like the malleacum or the whatever that black stuff is, and the red blood from the mama. I like it when you do it as the placenta's being saved.
So this is how I talked it through. I was like, all right, the baby doesn't know nothing. It's just like
it's already crying. So if you pierce it while it's crying, it's a double.
And the babies are tough. They'll be fine. They won't even remember it. Whatever. If you want to put earrings in your baby's ears, that's up to the parents, and the parents obviously want to do it. It's makes them happy.
Less harmful than religion.
I'm like, I don't care. It seems like no harm, no foul for the parents, for the baby. But then I started thinking about Shayla and the employees that work at these places, and
I couldn't do it.
And you're being asked by a parent to
shoot a baby with a gun.
To stab by blunt force trauma to an infant's ear, and one at a time for infants. So, and they had to be 3 months old.
What do you mean, one at a time?
And how could you even know how many months old they were?
That's true. It's just like baseball.
That's the thing. That was the number one thing for piercing babies was all the lying. People were lying. It's not their baby. Grandma has the baby for the day, and she's like, I'm going to get it pierced.
Oh, that's the abuela.
That's super sneaky abuela.
Yeah. The abuelas in Miami, they'll just run off because if you're
But you know what? All they have to do is cook for you. It's all fine.
If your Spanish son married some gringa and she's like, you're not, piercing my baby.
We don't do that in this house.
That abuela's going to steal your baby and go and pierce his ears at the mall because that's, what are you?
That's not your
crazy.
baby. It's not your baby.
It's against God's will.
You were literally just a vessel to bring the baby into the abuela.
So,
Shayla. Yeah, and then also the other lying would be that people would tell me that the baby was 3 months, and it like the earlobes would be so tiny that like
I would
use
a tiny gun.
I would be so scared because this little one was just so tiny, and like you click one ear and this baby's wailing, and then you have to physically hold the baby down.
Yeah, it's like a circumcision. It's one step above circumcision.
So, how crazy is this that someone's asking you to do this?
This might be our worst one as far as trauma goes, because this is a lot.
Especially,
a lot of screaming.
Okay, with all that being said, you're only paying this person and based on hourly rates, what are you
we
making?
have someone
$9?
in the chat room whose grandma pierced her ears. Oh my God, this is an epidemic.
To pierce that infant's ears, what would you say? How much money are you personally making from that?
Oh, it's just an hourly wage. So I just made whatever. I made like $2 over minimum as a trainer.
I mean, literally, she's just doing it for fun at that point.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like some parents,
I made $8.60 an hour or something. You know what I mean?
$8.60. I remember that.
And so let's say it takes you 5 minutes to pierce this infant's ears.
No, it's longer than that because I got to do paperwork, right?
Even 10 minutes.
Paperwork.
Yeah.
So you're making $1.
Less, man.
Yeah, no, I didn't make any, and I didn't make anything because I could have stood there and claimed the gun was broken and made the same amount of money.
Yeah. So
so you're now. This is where you reveal to us you could have been a hero, but then you went ahead and did it.
I was a zero.
Yeah.
Could you imagine handing someone a baby
I love you.
and telling them for $1.80, stab this baby's ears, and this baby
for
does not.
$1.80, you can keep a baby alive in a foreign country.
Yeah, it sounds like Sally Struthers. It really does.
Because the baby the baby has no idea what's going on. So it may not even be crying when you stab the first ear, but then after you stab one ear, it is screaming because it's
that is the one thing I was going to tell you.
Evolution kicks in, and it thinks it's being eaten by a lion.
Well, that's also the one thing I was going to tell you about the piercing, the big change in it. And the thing that I noticed is that and I have nothing to compare it to, but the gun does seem violent after you see somebody with their hand who's able to, with the sharpest piercing implement available in the world, you can't even feel it, right? Like it's almost like hypodermic at that point.
A baby would be able to feel it. I'm sure.
I don't know. I think babies would have less feeling in it because they also don't have the anticipation of going to the piercing place. So when we took Maisie, it was like a nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but she knew what was coming. I think
it works the opposite, and I'll sit here and argue it, and I'll just keep arguing it over and over and over.
I said, when one needle by hand, a baby's going to scream.
It's like us. It's like we fear death. A dog doesn't know it's dying. It's not going to sit there and mull over the fact that it knows it's going to die. I think it can work the opposite direction. I think if you were to pierce the baby the correct way with something super duper sharp, it's not going to feel it as much. The gun is a lot more violent. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Mark that.
It will feel it. It's even giving babies, shots and
But it's case by case because everybody feels things different.
Yeah. I feel like, did you ever have a baby just take it like a man?
Every once in a while, they would be so stunned or confused looking, and that they didn't really have much of a reaction at all, and that would be a gift. Because otherwise they'd be bucking their body and trying to kick their little leggies when you came at them at 20 years old. For me to approach this wee one, I didn't even have Delana at the time, so I didn't have my baby. So I was had trouble even maneuvering around a little one, and then to have to clean the ears and then mark it for to make them straight, because now this person's going to have them. I have my first piercings and I'm almost 50, so they're going to have them forever, and the baby is wiggling, and now the parent or the fake parent is totally upset as well, and they're holding the head of this infant down, this infant who's probably not even 3 months. We've lied there as well, and they're scared, and I'm scared, and the baby is screaming, and I'm supposed to make sure this is straight, sterile, and even for them to have for a lifelong body modification.
How much would that cost to pierce infant's ears?
That's a great question.
About $15.
Not $15.
Yeah, that's a bargain price to make your kid scream for a long time. But anybody can talk babies. And we've talked babies this, babies that. But what I really want to talk about is old man one earring. Let's go.
The gay ear, absolutely. So people would come in and they would want to get their ears pierced and ear pierced, an older person, and would want to know in a very demonstrative way which ear is not the ear to get, and they would have all sorts of examples. And of course, I'm dating myself, but they would say, like, I don't want to look like I'm in Wham.
Yeah, that's where I was going. That's what my dad would have said. I won't look like no goddamn George Michael.
Yeah, so we would tell them, don't get the right one then. You know what I mean? Like, we would, that's
How did that
where
come to be, the gay earring thing? Because it was a thing I remember my dad, like, you know how long I had to beg to get an earring? I had to beg and beg and beg to get an earring. And under the guise, I think I had to sign a contract that I wouldn't get it in the gay ear. I literally think I had to sign a contract with my dad. It might be still in the safety deposit box in DeLand.
I was in 5th grade. I was Tommy's age, and I got my left ear pierced, and I decided to get
That's the coolest thing it makes me think you're cool.
a skull dangler.
Dude, that's cool. That's way cooler than what I got.
1993 skull dangler.
That's a confident man's earring. I've never been confident enough to rock a dangler, bro.
And you know
that is confident.
what's interesting
Where
is,
did that Tom go? Where did skull dangler Tom go? The confidence of a skull dangler? That's aggressive.
Well, this is what happens when your dad dies, by the way. my mom should have said, like, don't get that. What are you doing? Like, that's stupid. Like, she's like, all right, you want a skull dangler? Oh, here we go.
Load
We're
him
going
up.
Claire's.
2 skulls.
We went to
Dangler, 3 danglers. Get this boy a skull dangler.
yeah. And then
God, I wish he still had it. That'd be awesome.
I remember showing up at school, and then everybody's like, what, are they making fun of me or whatever? And then I'm like, I made a mistake.
You know, that still happens. There was a kid in Maisie's class that she came home the first day of school and I won't say his name. She's like, Frank. Which is not a kid's name these days.
Yeah.
She was like, Frank came to school, he permed his hair and got an earring. And she was like, he looks ridiculous. And I'm like, oh, May, come on, man. Easy. Be nice.
So, Shayla, was it your majority task to train people to pierce ears, or did you do other stuff at Claire's, which I guess it would just be retail cashing people out?
I was the store manager, so and regional trainer, so I trained everyone to pierce ears all around, and I traveled around to do that. And then also it was my store, so I was in charge of everything, like the small amounts of HR that come with retail, to floor setting the merchandise, to bank deposits, and all that kind of regular retail-y stuff.
Did you ever do any partnerships with any stars at the time and get to meet, like, I don't know, the cast of Right Said Fred, or something, like the band or something? I don't know.
No, but there was some sort of thing with, and see, I'm going to flake on what the movie is, but that movie that goes, I caught you a delicious bass. I don't remember that guy's name. But anyway, the Vote for Pedro movie.
Oh, Napoleon Dynamite.
See, I knew these stores
Okay,
like to
so-
partner with things.
Of all
Yeah.
the quotes from Napoleon Dynamite,
Yeah, I
you
didn't even-
chose I Caught You a Delicious Bass?
Well, let me tell you why.
Dang
We were selling
quesadilla.
pens.
What?
At Claire's, there was a pen, and it said, I caught you a delicious bass, and we were supposed to push the button and ask people to buy it. So that's the only reason I even recall it.
We bought
But-
so many of these effing bass pins.
So every day, every checkout, I'd go, okay, and your total is this, and would you like the delicious bass pen? And then I would push the button. So that went on for way too long. But he didn't travel to the one in Daytona Beach at the Volusia Mall, but he apparently people from that movie traveled around saying, I'm with
Hold on,
Claire.
who'd you get? Ponytail, Pedro, or buck teeth? Which one'd you get?
We actually got nothing. We got furry-haired Pedro.
Who would you want? You want the brother. Kip.
Yes,
Kip?
better than.
Is that his name?
Well, he's the most famous now.
Yes, he's also
because of White Lotus.
He's also the funniest. And then John Hader, which was
yeah
Napoleon.
yeah.
And then the ponytail girl, and then Pedro. He's pretty famous, too. Pedro's pretty famous, I
Yeah,
think, too.
Yeah. Napoleon got typecast forever after.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
hey,
He's
like,
very unfortunate looking, and they
Yeah.
leaned in too early.
Yeah, and like there's
He
no
went full Gandolfini first acting job.
and he can't.
I couldn't watch it due to the Claire's experience, so I have never seen it.
Oh, you got to. Well, no, you're not missing anything.
So, did you ever pierce like an extremely old person, or what's
Yeah.
the most odd piercing besides infant?
Well, people would bring their dogs in and ask if we could pierce like their poodles or chihuahuas, and ask like, "Can you pierce this?" And like we declined it, thinking it was like a cleanliness issue. But I guess I technically don't know if we could have done it or not. But I told all the girls on my staff like, do not.
Wait, so people bring their dog? I never thought to do that. I might do that with my dog. Is that bad?
I don't know. If
It's the same as
I
the
don't
baby.
think it's the right decision, but I don't know.
No, but wait. He's 2 years old, and I'm white. Like,
Yeah, but all I'm saying is that they have no opinion on it.
I'll wear my
force
I'll wear my cowboy hat when I take him to the vet.
There would be people that would bring their like grandma in a wheelchair because she'd never gotten one, and I always found that a little bit different. I definitely
list.
tried
That's sad.
not to judge, but somebody who's very elderly and the thin skin, that elasticity is gone. So now you're like trying to place this earring and it
God.
won't even sit up straight because
you tried to put a hole as big as a donut hole.
it's so sad. But that was, at least they could sit and get both of them done. When you had somebody who was like around, it was worse when you had somebody who was maybe like 8 or so, and they actually just flat out refused to get the second one and would run around the store yelling at their parent, "You hurt me, I'm not doing this." And then the parents going, "Well, you have to make her get it." And they would sit on their own kid for me to hold them down, for me to try to pierce it straight and pierce it sterile.
God, Andrea was running around circles in a Buffalo Wild Wings yelling, "You hurt me, I can't do this," just a couple of weeks ago.
Again, it seems insane that this is your job as a young person.
I mean, she's basically a child. We're calling 21-year-old kids now, and she was 20, right? Weren't you, Shayla?
Yes, I was.
Yeah, but to stab children's earlobes that are trying to get away from you as someone else holds them down, and then it seems like a crime almost.
What about this one?
And also traumatizing to the minimum wage Claire's employee.
It definitely wasn't for everyone. Sometimes I'd teach someone how to do it, and they were like, "Okay, I'm not doing that." And then I'd have them pierce my ear just to show them that like it's not always going to be traumatic. Some people are fine. I now have 14 earrings, but wow. that would try to calm them down. And sometimes it would work, and they'd be like, "Okay, you didn't have a reaction." And other times they would just literally bail. Like, I cannot hurt people for a living.
So hold on, Shayla. How big? Like, Claire's is a pretty big company. Not.
Aren't they owned by Spencer's?
Not anymore, but I'm like at the time that we're kind of referencing, I imagine it was.
It had like 3,000 stores, I think, if I remember correctly, when I was working there.
So this just shows how cheap corporations are. Like, they never invested. Like, for sure, there's some sort of silicone ear and head that would mimic human skin. Was there any of that?
Yes, we had a piece of foam that was attached to a piece of cardboard that looked like an ear, and you could pierce through that. But it wasn't attached to anything, so you'd actually just have to have someone hold it. So you didn't get the correct type of feedback pressing it through. So you never really actually got trained on how it was going to feel, because the gun, one of them was spring loaded, but the other one was hand pressed. So you actually had to push fast enough and quick enough to push it through the ear, or the person was going to really get hurt.
Are you a spring man or hand pressed? I always go hand pressed, and I always go garlic crust.
I'm a butter cheese crust.
I knew you were. You sound like a butter cheese. I'll get down on it. As of 2025, Claire's operates how many, Tom? How many stores?
2,750.
She knows. She did her research. 2,750. That is a lot of stores, dude.
Still in America's malls around.
And expanding. They're doing these new little smaller versions. They're going back to the kiosks, and they're popping them in little strange places. And that's doing very well in the Middle East and South Africa.
So is there still, can you still take an infant baby to get its ears pierced? Or have they changed any of those laws?
That's a great question.
No, I believe you still can. I believe it's. I don't think anything ever changed about that. It might change to 6 months, but I believe it's still 3. But you can still go and get your baby's ears pierced. And we did have an option for kids that were over, I think it was like maybe 3 or 4, where we could do both ears at the same time if they could sit very still and get it done. But that obviously made it a little difficult to get it straight because you couldn't adjust for, oh, I missed the dot by a little bit, or it went in at a little bit of an angle, and now I'm going to readjust at the second ear to make them look straight. So we didn't always recommend it, but sometimes people would come in and say, my child has to get her ears pierced today, and the kid was already crying.
2 months is the age.
It's just 2 months?
No, I just looked it up. Yeah, the actual.
No.
I'm looking at it right here. It's Banter by Piercing Pagoda and Claire's. It's 2 months.
I'm so sorry for the way that we've done this.
It's 2 months now.
Yeah. And
it's faster than ever. It's like a medical marijuana card. I'll give you an email.
And there's no way to prove it.
Yeah.
Like, there's not,
It's
you have to
very
show a birth
American.
certificate.
Very American to pierce your baby's ears, I feel like.
So
When we lose that right, when we lose the right to pierce our baby's ears, then it's over. Then it's game over.
Shayla, have you ever screwed up big time and like really?
Yeah. So bad you had to like throw the baby in the trash.
Yes, I have messed up so bad that it was very fortunate that the client didn't know what to expect or what it would feel like, because I actually removed it and re-pierced it right then and there.
Oh.
The baby double.
Now,
Yeah.
is
But
there?
not on an infant, not on a baby, on an adult with some. There was like some old scar tissue or something happening, and when I went to pierce it, it actually just didn't really go all the way through, and the gun was sort of stuck to their
You
head.
got
and it was like a
lucky
whole-
you're piercing some helicopter pilot from World War II or something.
I didn't click fast enough. They zigged. I zagged. I
Yeah.
don't know, but I grazed them instead of really getting it. So I just removed what was there, pulled everything off, and was like, I'm sorry, that didn't connect, and went ahead and pierced their ear.
Oh, I like that.
What was
That's a
the
good pivot?
What was the corporate, I guess, rules about where on the ear you could pierce? Because I'm sure it's like lobe only, or could you go up the cartilage? I'm sure
We went up to cartilage. We could do anything on the outer ear. It was like they had it like numbered in positions. So it was like all the way up to like position 12. Like you could pierce, you can imagine like first, second, and third holes, right? So like going all the way around up to the top, you could keep going. So
Did you ever get any perverts in there that were like, hey, you pierce this?
Yes.
Yeah, I figured. Like, how would they do that?
Yeah.
How would they walk me through an altercation between a pervert?
Okay, so a pervert would come in and then act like they were totally getting their ear pierced, and then ask, like, is there any way you could pierce something else? And then, like, usually, because as females, we usually just, like, laugh it off when we're uncomfortable. So
Yeah.
you just be like, ha, 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 ha. And then they would
And then they will hold your hand down and go like, I'm not joking.
is there anything else you could do for me?
Oh, well, that's not piercing. I know what that is.
I'm like,
That's not
oh,
what I
no.
was. That was not what I was.
That's what I
asking.
say at the massage parlor.
Yeah, that is a whole different animal. That is not what I was
And then
talking
I
about.
just give them the directions to Auntie Anne's or some American cookie company in hopes that they
And
found
then I'm
something
coming
that
back
was
and I'm going to be like, hey, the lady at Auntie Anne's will not pierce my penis.
Okay, so how did the Claires make the money if it's $15 to pierce their ears, which is nothing?
Jewelry, dude.
It's all jewelry.
Yes, so the piercing was free when you bought the earring. The cheapest earring was $15, but the highest earring was like $42 or something, and that would have been for a 14-karat gold with a CZ, and it would have been 5 millimeter instead of 3. But then also any earrings you bought that day were on discount, and usually you'd have to get the kid a gift because it was bawling. The gift of ear piercing wasn't enough at that point, so earrings were all buy 2 and get the 3rd free after getting the ears pierced, and usually throughout the day, and they had a 20% off coupon for that day.
You say, and then the dads are standing there. A little bit of this happened to me. I didn't get upsold because I went to a different place, but you're not getting out of there without buying nice jewelry. You're just going to have to get some really nice, decent, run-of-the-mill starter earrings, don't get any garbage, and spend the right money and get right stuff so their ears don't get infected. And
Yeah.
you'll spend
And
some
that
money.
was another hard part, was telling people that they could go ahead and buy earrings because we didn't sell real earrings there. So then I was still again selling them something that could potentially hurt them.
Oh.
So we had earrings that were called sensitives because they didn't have any nickel in the metal that was used, and they were more like a stainless steel type post. And we could tell them get some of these earrings for after it's time to change it. But sometimes I would wince at that information because it really wasn't necessarily the correct thing. It was just what I needed to be doing for the job.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
How about
yeah.
noses? Could you guys do noses?
No, I don't see why not, though, technically, because I don't really think, and at that time, if they thought it was fine to pierce cartilage, why they didn't think it was fine enough to pierce the nose, but no, we did not, and I'm glad we didn't. Knowing now what I know, because I have needle piercings, and knowing what the difference is now, but I'm surprised that the company didn't go for it.
What's funny about this job is like going back to, piercing the kids that don't want to be pierced and then the parents holding them down and stuff like that. Like, I can't even think of another less paying job that encounters like you having to harm kids and hurt them.
It's precious cargo.
While in a traumatic experience, because now their parents, who they're like, their protectors, are holding them down.
Also, they're young. Also, the person doing it is very young.
Yeah. Where a person's doing like, it's not you're in the middle of the mall. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're not in any sort of medical.
Well, that's the shift they're trying to make. That's why these piercing studios, see, they all use, just like tattoo, they are trying to put the medical aspect of it higher. Like, they're trying to really, show that because of what Shayla's telling us.
Because think about it, in all other society, like, this happens at kids' pediatricians all the time, right?
But it's supposed to, because it's a doctor and he's doing something serious.
And you're giving them some sort of shot that they need for health reasons, right?
You're like lancing some sort of
It's
wound.
not the parents' vanity. Yeah, the parents' vanity is what was doing it, and sometimes it would make you really nauseous because I just need her to look more like a girl. People are calling my little one a boy. So get these pink CZ earrings and let's do this. And then you would just look at this wee one and feel like I can't possibly, for this parent's vanity.
You know what? I forgot about that, Shayla. That was a thing. That was a thing. In my age group, born in 76, 48 years old, that was a thing. If the
I'm
dad,
76 also.
Yeah, if the dad, God, it's so funny you said that. I forgot about this. If the dad, for the whitos, if the dad didn't think the girl looked feminine enough, he'd shove some earrings in her ears to force people to not say, "Oh, that's a good-looking guy there." Oh, come on, man.
Yeah, it was definitely a thing back then, and it was so important for everything to be pink and for everything to be correct in that way, which is so crazy.
What's weird, Shayla, is that just through, I guess, the natural selection of this particular job, that it wouldn't have evolved to, like, people wouldn't do this for minimum wage because it was, like, it was too much of a traumatic experience for such little money. So for you, like, you stayed there for quite a while. Like, it must have not been that traumatic to pierce babies and infants and kids that didn't want to get pierced. Like, you must have been, you know what I'm saying? Because if it was,
I felt like I was good. I felt like I was good at it compared to some of the other people, and I also just felt like, I don't know, like they're getting hurt, but at least they get earrings. You stub your toe, you get nothing. At least you're getting earrings. I don't know. I kind of like rationalized it some way that I don't know, because then when I did birth my daughter, I did not get her ears pierced.
Oh, that's real.
That's pretty hypocritical, I think.
And I had her while I was still the regional trainer for Claire's. And
on company time? You could have gotten freebies.
Yeah, and I did not get her ears pierced. When Delana was old enough to ask me for it, and I was able to tell her, hey, it hurts, and it will hurt. It'll hurt a little bit more than a shot. Then she got them done, but I did not pierce my infant's ears.
And
so
they both still do it. Claire's and Piercing Pagoda both still do it, and the employees performing it are still minimum wage employees. Most of them get between $15 and $16.23 or $16.38.
I actually looked up something too, that they are piercing noses now. Claire's pierces noses with a piercing kit to make it safe and easy to get your first piercing stud.
Oh, there you go.
It's just
I want to take it home and do it yourself kit.
What a bizarre job to pierce infants' ears for minimum wage. You know what I'm saying? Like that is crazy to me.
It is weirder
that it went on. It still goes on.
It's weirder than massaging an old man for thousands.
Yeah. Because at least the old man, you're there.
Oh, I know what I'm there for.
And then she's like, he wants it. I'm providing a service or whatever.
Yeah. But this is weird. This is almost like it's a ritual. I'm putting jewels in a baby's ears. What, for the spirit?
Yeah, she's like, I have an iPhone in my pocket, and I'm piercing an infant's ears as it screams.
Right.
Do they still use the gun?
I think so.
Yeah, it
I
says
mean,
here. It
All
says
right.
here they do.
The brand of gun that we used is still for sale, and I have one, and I've still pierced people's ears when they ask me.
Yeah, they say that's actually causing the problem, and some of the listeners in the chat room were saying that the guns are now, just like anything, readily available on Amazon, so you can just go on there and find whatever you want, order your own, and you're off to the races.
Yeah,
you don't even need to
Right.
go to Claire's.
But I mean, for $15 or $20, it seems like
You can order the gun and a baby
Yeah.
online, and you can do both at the same day.
Is there?
That's amazing, and it doesn't even have to be your baby.
That's correct. Yeah, it can be a real baby.
That's what's
Yeah, any
weird
baby.
is that there wasn't some protocol where you had to be the baby's parent. Like
Yeah, we always thought that was weird. We would ask the date of birth, and when we saw somebody trying to do the math to write it on the paper and stuff, like it was like, oh no, this isn't the parent, or it's not the right age, and we would feel so awkward. But there was nothing standing behind us. Like we couldn't refuse them unless the child or the client seems like they actually couldn't take it. We could say, hey, I can't finish this piercing, like the person's hysterical or whatnot. We could only refuse it for that reason. So basically any other reason that they gave for the paper, we just had to go ahead and take it at their word. And you could tell sometimes that that's just not the situation. People would have a birthday party and bring other people's kids. And like, you could tell, like she was like, hey, what's your last name again? And write everybody's name down and just get the whole group pierced.
Can you imagine? I take your son,
I would
I
lose
take your
it.
sons and 18 little boys to piercing Pagoda. They all get a gay earring. I got everybody a gay earring.
Tommy's about to have a birthday
Get
party.
him a dangler. I'll get one too. I'll get one.
Yeah, let's all go.
Dangler.
Yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
I will ride the skull dangler one more time.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
I'll bring all my friends' kids,
Yeah.
everybody be like, who wants an ear piercing? And then I'll force them. Then I'll hold them down.
Yeah, if you don't do it, we'll shame you. We'll yell at you.
Yeah. And even if you don't want it, I'll drag you in there. I'll hold you down.
That used to be a thing. You could take it out, remember?
I know.
It used to be a thing. We're like, oh, just get it. You can take it out.
Did you? Last question,
People
Shayla.
passed out. Did anybody pass out?
Did you ever refuse because the person was screaming like, no, like, and you're like, I'm sorry, I cannot do this.
Yes, so once in a while we would have to do that. But I have to say that in all my years, it was pretty rare that we would do that. Shout out to Miracle City Mall and the Volusia Mall, because I know those girls are going to listen to this.
Oh, right on. Shout out to Miracle City and Volusia Mall. What?
Woot, woot, woot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with Miracle City, but no Miracle City.
That's tight.
Something tells me it's going to take a miracle to make it better.
Titusville.
Well,
Oh, yes. Titusville. Home of White Monster Energy Drink. The tastiest.
the champagne of
And
Titusville.
cartilage piercings at Claire's.
There you go. Hey, thank you for doing this, Shayla.
And you said
Absolutely.
at the time minimum wage was what now?
When I started, it was around $6 and some change, and I made a couple bucks over.
Nice.
$6.
She got the 8. She got the 8. That's good.
Yeah. Could you imagine doing something for an hour with taxes taken out and making $8?
They're hurting babies for $8.
Hey, I can't even get a hot dog in New York for $8.
Hey, thank you for doing this. We'll talk to you again, okay?
All right. Thank you, guys.
All
Bye.
See you, Shayla.
Be good. She's very sweet.
I can't believe that still goes on. Nothing changed. I like that though. I like
Claire's and Pearson Pagoda, they're holding. They've in fact they're branched out. More stores than ever for Claire's, 3,750, and then with 300 new stores in South America.
It is a little bit weird in the fact that you do, if you pierce your earlobe, and I guess I don't know how long you have to leave the earring in, but once you leave it in for a certain amount of time, like it becomes semi-permanent. Or even if you take it out, like that hole will be there for a long time.
I have holes in my ears.
Yeah, so it's like so for a semi-permanent thing like that, it's crazy how loose the restrictions are about who you could do that to.
We don't really seem to care about our ears much, right? Like tattoos, they do.
Oh yeah.
Tattoos, they do. You can't just be screwing around with tattoos.
No, yeah. And they I think they take a harder stance on like even like
pain pills. They do. I can't even get pain pills for my hip. I can't get one pain pill
That's
for my
crazy.
hip. But I could take a baby. I could take someone else's baby to the mall and jack holes all in the baby.
Yeah. This guy can't. He's got a fake hip. He can't get pain pills.
I need pain pills, and I could take anyone's baby to the mall and pierce his nose like Lenny Kravitz. It's totally fine. Pierce this baby's nose. Whose baby is it? Doesn't matter. Pierce it, you maggot.
All right. We'll see you tomorrow.
That's funny.
That is funny.
She was great. Good job, buddy. That was really good.
That was good.
I'll save that for Wednesday, and then we're gonna do.
That's it, really. I got a small business meeting at 2-ish.
Cool. Wow. Then we did then that's fucking perfect. Great job.
And then we're good. We got Thursday and Wednesday. That's Wednesday. 1 and 2. Yeah.
4, 30, 25, raw audio. Thanks for hanging out with us today, folks. I'm going to shut everything down, but we really do appreciate you. Hopefully the cameras are working good, but a lot of people were saying that they are working great. So that is exactly what we need.